Alright guys, welcome back. So now we're going to finally start actually getting into it. We're going to start discussing some hard theory. Um, Earlier I think I said I'm going to go over everything in the book. I actually think probably there will be some things I skip, things I just don't think are that important. We're going to start, as you might expect, with chapter 1. There is an intro I put in the book, but I don't really think it's that important. I only put it in there because someone kind of told me I should in case people were curious as to how I kind of came up with this information, but I don't think anybody cares about that, so we're going to kind of go straight into chapter 1. I'm going to use this board to kind of explain things. It's a little bit smaller than I kind of thought it would be, so I'll probably get a bigger one, but for now we're just going to do this board. So the first thing I want to talk about is the title of the first chapter is Dual Mind Theory, or Dual Mind, something like that. This is actually the book. So that's the book. This is the author's copy. What actually is the first? It's Dual Mind Theory or something like that. Let me just double check. Yeah, so Dual Mind Theory. So we're gonna basically go over the first part of the chapter. I'm gonna try to go over each. Like the book is basically broken up into subheadings in each chapter. I'll probably try to make a video for each subheading. If it's not big enough, I'll just combine some. That's kind of what I'm going to do a little bit in this first chapter. So like it says in chapter 1, it's Dual Mind Theory, where this is basically the idea that you have two minds instead of one, right? So we kind of gave that away already in the introductory videos and the title of the book. But just as a formality, basically, the idea is that you have two minds, right? So very important. Most people, when they think of their mind and they just think of thoughts, when you use the term mind, most people probably would just think of one mind, right? It doesn't occur to them that you actually have two. So I feel like it's important to say that. So you have two minds. So what are the two minds that you have? Well, we're going to go over the first one in this video. So the first one is the more intuitive one. That's the one you normally would think of, right? It's when most people think of when you talk about their mind. So the first mind is the conscious mind, right? Now, I also call it the negative mind. That's going to make more sense later. Now, I think it's a lot easier to talk about it in terms of like thinking of it as positive and negative. We'll talk about the positive mind in the next video. But for now, the first mind you have is the positive mind. And again, I also call it the negative mind. I'm going to use the term conscious mind and negative mind interchangeably. So what is the conscious mind? Well, the conscious mind, like I said, is the one you normally think of. It's the one you think of, it's the intuitive one you think of anytime you kind of think of just the act of thinking. If someone says they're thinking about something, or if you think about like what you want to do today, if you think about like going to the store, you're like, I need to go to the store and buy this or buy that. If you're like, if you think of adding, 2 plus 2, right? And that you would use your conscious mind to do that, of the two minds. So pretty much the conscious mind kind of is very self-explanatory. It's very intuitive. It's the mind. It's the part of your mind you generally think of anytime you think about thinking at all, or just using your thoughts. So just to go over some of the properties of it anyway, the conscious mind is the part of your mind that has awareness. So it's basically the part of you that's aware of things happening, right? Probably I could say a little more about that, but very simply, it's just a part of your mind that is aware of stuff, that's aware of anything, right? Whether it be your own thoughts, your own feelings, the external environment around you, your senses, whatever, right? The act of being aware, or the experience of awareness, comes from your conscious mind. The other property is your conscious mind is the part of you that has free will. So that's going to be important later, but it has free will. Obviously, that's your ability to actually choose things, right? That comes from your conscious mind. The third property is that your conscious mind, or the negative mind, has rationality or logic, right? And that's the part that basically is self-explanatory. So that's a part of you that can think rationally, right? It can focus on a circumstance, analyze it, and make informed decisions about it, right? It can analyze, it can focus on the consequences of your actions or the consequences of a certain decision. It can sort of analyze different outcomes or different possibilities, weigh which one makes the most sense, and then choose one, right? And so that's, like I said, self-explanatory, right? It's able to use rationality and logic, right? And so that, I think, is pretty much it. Like I said, pretty self-explanatory, right? So this is the conscious mind, aka the negative mind. Now, I think that's pretty much it for this video. So like I said, it's very easy to understand, very intuitive, very basic. We're really just kind of going over it as a formality. In the next video, we're actually going to talk about the subconscious mind, or the positive mind. That one is far less intuitive, and that's the one that basically the whole book is about. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next video.